Peter back on the show today.
What's up, everyone? I am here.
Dude, you know, little fact, your episode, I think to this day, has been the most popular or most downloaded episode.
No, what?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like I was checking it because usually I never check the stats, only when I'm like posting like a new episode.
Yeah.
And yours is still like ranked like number one of like all the downloads.
Holy shit.
And it's crazy.
Awesome.
I don't know how to check the streams though, like to see how many actual streams like
Come on,
they've got. I mean, I haven't checked. I guess I've just kind of like glanced over the downloads, which I mean, it's pretty. I didn't even know we'd have any downloads, to be honest with you.
Dang, man.
So it's pretty sweet.
I just made 9 fake Apple accounts.
Did you?
Yep. But just kidding. Shout out to all the love, all the random love out there, guys. Thank you so much.
No, yeah, dude, definitely a lot of I think some people like follow you and your friends. They started following the page and really supportive. So
and my friends have been just telling me like, dude, that guy's podcast is freaking awesome. So props to you. That's all on you, man. Dude, it's all you, baby.
Dude, last week I didn't even get the chance to get an episode because I was like fucking busy as hell. And then I had to reschedule an episode, which I mean, we're scheduled for this week. And then the week prior, I was like, because this is like episode 9. So it's been like 9 weeks of like consistently like putting podcasts out.
There we go.
And I was just kind of like, I just got to put something out. But last week I was like, I just had no idea what I was going to do.
You know what, man? The numbers are coming in. You know, people are listening. You're scaling up right now, bro. These are growing pains. You need to hire someone to do this for you. To edit, to release, and etc. Okay?
Dude,
that's the real problem.
I was about to hire my sister, to be honest.
Oh, for real?
I was like, hey, I'll pay you minimum wage. You don't do anything here. She's 15.
Wow. You would give your sister minimum wage?
I'll give her minimum wage or whatever she wants, depending on how well she does. The thing is, she doesn't want to do anything. So like,
wow.
It's so she sketches, she draws. So I know there's a creative side to her.
Yeah.
But she's more of that kind of artistic than grinding it out.
You're a generous man, Jonathan. I would give my little sister an internship.
I mean, I got to motivate her somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I saw the wedding video you did
for Dom.
For Dom.
Oh, you know, wedding video. Right?
Wedding video, little snippet there you did.
That was the most TikTok wedding we've ever been to, guys, and I would have liked it any other way, to be honest. It was really fun though. Just wanted to like record one moment of their life, you know, and just preserve it forever.
Dude, I love the vibe and everything you had with it, like from the song, and then of course the red looks amazing as always.
Dude, it was fun recording that. And you know what, honestly though, it's like I just wished. Actually, I don't wish anything. That style of editing though, I always like that simplistic style where composition and I don't know, like just composition matters more than transition. But yeah, I'm glad I got to hang out with all you guys that day, man. I was like, I wasn't not about to come. It was just like, it was getting to that part. But dude,
I mean, it was like an hour and 40 minutes away. So,
it was, man.
So then, and then when you pulled an all-nighter pretty much?
Yep, that same night. Oh my goodness. And then this night afterwards too. Holy crap.
Is the video still up? The wedding video?
Yeah, it's just on my Instagram. I haven't uploaded it to YouTube. Actually, I uploaded it to my company's YouTube, but like that's about it. But yeah, man, me and Jonathan have something really cool for you guys today. We're going to segue into this next segment where we get to talk to you guys about advice for freelancing with taxes, okay? And that's a really big deal in the beginning of your career because if you don't worry about taxes, one day a big sketchy guy in a black coat is going to knock on your door and he's going to come from a place called the IRS. And you don't want a visit from anyone who's working for the IRS, right, Jonathan?
I mean, he's not too bad, but no, you don't want anyone.
It's a 3-word or 3-letter syllable organization. You usually don't want any kind of business with them. Just good business.
I mean, if you can make your life easier, definitely avoid that. And I think when I was like preparing for the show, I was like thinking like when you get into any business, freelance, you go in like full company, whatever, like in the beginning is always the fun part. Like you get to do the creative, the logo, it's like the honeymoon phase, the relationship, anything. And then eventually like you get down to like, okay, like this is actually a struggle. Like you can't just like after that part, it's like, okay, how do we like manage money? How do we get work? How do we keep keep track of all the expenses and everything that's going on. And, and I was like, I think that's what doesn't get talked about too much
at all.
Like at all. I
It's
think
like the most unsexiest part about freelancing.
it is. And I think it's like the most important because it's going to keep you like afloat in the beginning.
Yeah. It's like in the beginning, all that honeymoon stuff, like all the fun logo design, etc. That's like the honeymoon. But then like when the money doesn't come in or when you owe money to the government, that's like, we might be on a divorce. We're thinking of separation. Of you and my business, like, and that's horrible. And we want to give you guys the best tools and advice right now to avoid all of that. So where do you want to start off, Jonathan?
Well, let's start for anyone who, first time, listening to the podcast. I know you were on here before. Just a little history of how you got into the freelance. Not your full history of what you do, just a little history of like how you got into freelance and kind of how you build that up in the beginning.
Awesome. Yeah. So like, all right. 3 sentences, right? First sentence, I was in college, I needed extra money, and I could make it with my camera. Second sentence, I found a full-time job that let me do my passion, which was video editing and content creation. And third sentence, now I decided that I had enough experience from the corporate world and wanted to implement my own style into running my own video business, which is slowly becoming more than just like a video business. It's becoming like multiple entities of like design and slowly transitioning into the world of tech. How about you, Jonathan? How did you get your start in freelancing?
I mean, pretty much the same way. I was graduated engineering, didn't really have any jobs like lined up. I was just applying, and that necessity of like, I need money, I have a skill, I know someone that can use that skill, kind of like, let's just do this for now. And then from there, just really enjoyed the work. Actually, not that I hated engineering, but it's just, I didn't like that process of just being in the office all day. And it wasn't like I imagined. I actually liked being creative, solving like creative problems. So from there, just kind of got to deal with that company or the bar and then just kind of build from there. And then I was like, well, I don't want to slow down. I actually want to give this a shot. And 2 years later, we're still here.
Nice. See, so this is probably like a very common story for most of you guys listening right now. And the one thing I wish I could tell my 21-year-old self, was like not to be scared to learn those processes. So the first process I definitely wish I could have gotten used to was recording and tracking all my expenses. Because back then I used to think, do I have to save all my money? Everything I make, I have to save all my money. And the more money I save, the faster I grow. That's actually not the case because at a certain point, you need new equipment. At a certain point, you need to spend more money on assets. And not many freelancers in the beginning know that like whenever you spend money on those assets, that you get to write them off as expenses. Mm-hmm. Okay? Like for the longest time, I never knew what that meant, like write-offs. What are you writing off? Like, are you just saying like, oh, I made this much money, I don't have to worry about report. I don't know, whatever you're thinking that term was or etc. I wish I formally knew what it meant and how to save all that money. Because if you don't spend more on your assets, you don't get to create a higher quality product. You don't have a higher quality product, you slack behind in the industry. Or you start to fall behind in the industry compared to your competition. Right, Jonathan?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can just see, my thought process was always like, I got to have some savings for a rainy day, not putting down savings. But I think people get too much in the mentality of like, let's just save. When there has to be an investment, aspect into it. If you want to like, especially when you're in the freelance world or anywhere you want to just make an investment, you have to funnel it back. And that's how you grow the business. Because if you just have all this money, like, it's just going to be there. It's not bad to have it, but that quality needs to get better.
Exactly. And because everyone should be playing by the rules, all that money you make that year, really 30% of it is supposed to go to Uncle Sam. So that's the next thing I wanted to like tell myself or my younger self, like all my income. So here's the first rule, guys. The very first rule of Jonathan and Peter's like freelancing guide. Take 30%. If you're really good at book managing or your bookkeeping, 25 to 33% of all your income, right? So if you make $100, make sure you save $30.
$30.
Yep, $30. You can put it into another separate bank account, which is completely free for most checking accounts, or you can put it in like, I don't know, like there's a lot of apps too, a lot of freelancer apps. I don't know any off the top of my head, but you can just put 30. There's a freelancer account where every time it sees income go into your bank account, it'll ask you, hey, is this freelancer income or is this just like miscellaneous income or miscellaneous money. And then if you choose business, it'll take it out 30% automatically. And
Does QuickBooks have that shit?
QuickBooks does not have that. QuickBooks, I think maybe in the premium whatever tiers, but I don't know. They're not the QuickBooks I use.
Because what I've been doing, so see, my background was in engineering and it was in like industrial, so I knew how to use Excel very well, and like I did a lot of that stuff. So like for the past 2 years, like just to save money, because in the beginning, save as much money as you can because you need it all. Mm-hmm. I did my own tracking. I literally made my own sheets. Even to this day, like. I just haven't found. I haven't got to a point where like I have so much work that I can't track it myself. I mean, it is more work, but in the long run, it's also saving me X amount of money, which I can use for something else.
Quick question: how do you track your miles? And by the way, guys, you can write off mileage, which is all the transportation you do in your car when you have to go for a business trip. So
like every system, it needs improvement, and that's the one thing I haven't tracked too well. I track my gas as far as like how much I'm spending, every receipt. I scan it, track it, have like an Excel sheet for that.
Nice.
But the miles is one thing. I know there's an app you can get that tracks all your miles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I think in the beginning, like it's important, but I don't think they'll like come down on you too hard for it. But it is a little extra way of saving just more money.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like 50 cents. I think right now it's like 52 cents per mile, right? Mm-hmm. So like me going to Austin for a trip, dude, that's like a freaking, I think like $60 write-off. Mm-hmm. And then like back and forth, $120. You get your like, I think so, guys. The calculation's a little off, but like that's the whole point, like, man, if people knew that more often, they wouldn't be scared to go on those trips, or they wouldn't feel like, oh man, like I want to go on this trip, I have to ask for X amount of money, but I know the budget will be pushing it towards like their ceiling, their upper ceiling. But that's not the case. It's like, no, like, yeah, like it seems like a loss at first, but like you get all these write-offs back because you go on the trip, you eat your food, you eat your meals, and you write all that off too. But that's the cool thing about QuickBooks. There is a tracker.
There's a tracker on it?
Yeah, exactly. And you can do it like an automated mode where you just turn on like a button and it's like, oh, now it's tracking the miles and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Or you can manually input it in. And I kind of manually import it in because it's like sometimes on my trip I deviate for like personal reasons. So I'll just be like, okay, I'm just going to designate my office location, aka my room, and then location B, which is the actual workplace, or like set of work where my set is going to be for that day. And yeah, that's really it. So then like I'll do the Gmaps like directions, and then I'll take the amount of miles it's going to take for me to get to point A to point B, and then boom, I just record it manually in QuickBooks.
Gotcha. Before we continue, guys, I do want to mention, I don't know if we'll get in trouble, but this is not any financial advice. Definitely consult with a tax person who can actually, I feel like everyone always says that, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. This is how we've done it. And definitely a lot of it is true. You can take whatever you want from it and eat to it. Yeah. But yeah, just if you have any more questions, like stuff like that, definitely consult someone.
Can I plug in my friend real quick?
Yeah, plug in your friend.
If you have any tax questions and you live in the local area of Houston, Texas, hit up ZTXadvisors.com for all your tax consultation and tax services. Shout out to you, Jose.
Dude, I need to talk to him or something because
he's great, man.
He's great.
So basically, Jose's just like he's one of my friends who I was introduced to from one of my old college friends, Juan, who runs Gold Lake Media, an accounting-based marketing firm. And Jose specializes in like freelancers as well, or that's just one of his things. But he has big clients too that own huge establishments in Houston. Yeah. So he has the best of both worlds, and he's really down to help the little guy as much as he is for his bigger clients as well. So that's ZTXadvisors.com, guys. Give him a look, check him out, and ask him for a quote or consultation.
Yeah, we'll drop his links down below in the show notes as well, website, phone number, whatever it is, that you can get a hold of him in case you need something. Yeah, because I've always asked, people always ask me like, yo, do you know a tax guy? I'm like, I know the tax guy my mom uses, which is the guy I've been using, but I haven't personally like built a relationship with like, someone who like I trust very well, like I've known for a while. My mom trusts him, so I guess that's That's how business works. You trust someone trusts someone, you refer them to you, and then they kind of breaks that barrier. But yeah, it'd be nice to like know someone else who might give me a different option.
Heck yeah.
How do you do your write-offs with your equipment? Because I know there's like a depreciation that you can do as well throughout the amount of years, and that's always like, because what I initially thought was like, hey, if this camera costs $5,000, I'm just gonna write it off for this year for $5,000. Which I mean, I think you can do still, but I think you can also like do some depreciation throughout like a 5, 6, whatever year like lifespan on it.
I don't know the answer to that because I've never wrote off depreciation as well. Because it was like it's a really tricky thing.
It is.
But that is another way to save money each and every year on your write-offs and your expenses. So, yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm more than sure my friend Jose knows, like, if he was here, he would tell you right off the bat. But yeah, what did we cover so far? First, take out all your income. The first thing you can do, guys, to be a responsible freelancer, take out 30% of all your income. The second thing you could do to be a better freelancer, track all your mileage by using an app like QuickBooks or Xero. What's the third tier? Or what's our third step?
There's another app too, but okay, so we covered those two. What else do I usually do? Do you scan all your stuff, or do you do it within the QuickBooks?
Exactly, yeah.
Because you do need what, like 2 to 3 years of past like receipts in case or something like that. Of evidence that those expenses are actually happening and you're just not making them up.
Exactly. Whatever you report to the IRS, you definitely need to like track it with like old receipts and etc. Because in the case you ever get audited, they will go back that far. They will go back, man, until the first day you made your first dollar. But yeah, like I use QuickBooks and everything's stored in the cloud. And as long as I take a picture of all my receipts that I want to report, boom, like I'm good. I have nothing to hide.
Now tell me if this is something you've noticed, and I think I've noticed it, and I see it like in big companies all the time. Like when you work like corporate, you work a job, your tax is basically like taken out for you, right? It's every check, it's out. But when you're doing your own company, there's a lot more loopholes to avoid paying that much taxes. There's a lot more write-offs you can do. You can pretty much write off. Honestly, guys, you can write off almost anything that helps you with the business.
Yep.
Even like the clothes you wear on, because it's kind of like, I don't know to that extent, but a lot of the stuff is a lot. You can write off a lot of stuff.
You can write off a lot of things. Yeah, exactly. And for our field of industry, it's even weirder because the things we can write off, like it's so funny how we can make them correlate, right? Like a wardrobe for a music video, that's definitely a write-off. It's expense because you're dressing for the music video. The music video is a product for the client. So it's like, boom, bada bing, like that's the write-off. But I think I know exactly what our third step would be for our freelancing, our beginner's guide to being a freelancer. It would be what kind of business organization, what kind of business structure you should choose. LLC, let's see, LLC, sole proprietor. There's what else?
There's DBA, sole proprietor. There's actually, what's the other one?
There's S Corp.
The S Corp.
The S Corp's more like a way to pay taxes.
Corporations
corporations. Yeah, S Corps aren't really like a business structure or entity. It's really just like, oh, this is the way you're gonna pay taxes.
Yeah,
and I kind of have enough background info now to talk about S Corps, but not everything. So don't quote me exactly on this one, guys, but S Corps are just basically a way for you to save taxes if maybe you're the sole proprietor, owner of that business, right? Like Jonathan Media. And Jonathan this is how the S Corp works. Jonathan will make an expense to the business about his salary for the year. So let's say Jonathan Media revenue is $100,000 this year. He can make a salary.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Who knows? It's happening. Maybe it'll happen next month. And Jonathan will just like make an expense to Jonathan Media that he's paying himself a $30,000 salary. So if that happens, Jonathan gets to report at the end of the year that he only made $30,000, and the $70,000 gets stored in the business account for that year. And then there's a different tax percentage that he has to pay off of that. But then for his own personal tax return that year, he only has to report $30,000. And then the $70,000, it's taxed a different way. And that's basically the rest I know about it. It's just a way for you to like keep more money in your business, but then paying less taxes as well. So maybe I'm wrong.
I think I've heard it's like two entities. It's like your business is an entity, and then yourself is an entity, and then you're almost like, in a way, you're saving money, but you're taxing both because you're paying yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, a friend of mine told me a while ago, but like that's why either you really need to study this or get someone who knows how to do it, because
I know
it gets complicated. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, a freelancer, you're already probably doing a million things. You don't want to have to pay extra because you did something wrong.
Exactly, guys. And if you're not okay, let's just say like you're a sole proprietor for this year. Tip number 4, right? So tip number 3, like establish what business structure you're going to use or tax structure you're going to use for your company, whether you become an LLC or a corporation or a sole proprietor. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, because most of us are basically, I'm a sole proprietor right now, but I'm thinking about moving to S Corp because it makes sense for my business right now before I hire employees. I'm thinking, what was I going to say? The 4th thing that you should think about is, dang, I just had a Jonathan, and it's just like one right over my head.
The sole proprietor, I mean...
Sole proprietorship.
I mean, so guys, if you guys don't know how to get it, it's the simplest pretty much and the cheapest. You literally go to any court in your district.
Oh, the DBA?
The DBA?
Yeah, or any of those other business things. Like, yeah. Go to the... Yeah.
And it's like, what, like $16, $20 to register your business?
Pretty cheap.
Pretty cheap. So that's why, like, guys, you can't have an excuse to not, like, start it. Like, my recommendation is just start. And that's the easiest way to start. Like, you go, pay your $20, get yourself a domain, social media, whatever, and you pretty much have a business.
Yeah, exactly. Here it is. This is the 4th step.
Let's hear it.
This is okay, so get your DBA right from the courthouse, wherever you're from. And once you have that DBA, go find a new bank, or you can use your same bank, but I don't think Bank of America or like the really traditional like banks that are found nationally are really good banks for like businesses. There's a lot of like different rules and terms and conditions that are like more leverage on their side. I use an online feeless banking app called Aslo. And with Aslo, it helps me separate my business expenses and my personal expenses. Because if you use one business account and your receipts are going in and out for personal or business accounts, business transactions, it's going to get really confusing at the end of the year for your accountant. And not only that, it's really disorganized. So I use my Aslo account for all my business accounts, and then I have a business card for my company. That way I separate everything, and it makes it really easy during tax time.
So I need to get it. What's it called?
Aslo. So
Aslo.
I think they're based out of Oregon, and they're really cool, man. Like so there's a few setbacks, right? Like I don't have 24-hour service, right? They only work from Mondays to Fridays or Mondays through Saturdays, and I can only open one checking account per account. And then ATMs are a bit more limited, but it's okay. So my ATM is more like the ATMs you find in Walgreens and whatnot, or gas stations. And if it's under a certain brand, it's feeless for me. But then like as something as accessible as Wells Fargo or Bank of America, I usually can. But I do most of my business is done like with credit and debit. It's not really a cash business.
Yeah. Because I still have Bank of America. That's just initially where I started.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I haven't dove too deep into the pros and cons. I know each bank has the good stuff and their bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is tricky though when you're trying to differentiate personal from business, and that's why I mean it's an extra step you got to put into your tracking and everything as well. But yeah, if there's a solution to make that easier for you guys, definitely. And I have seen like you can get multiple you can get multiple accounts, different banks, one for just business, one for like your personal stuff, and then just
one hold your taxes.
Yeah, one your taxes, and you can mentally kind of like, okay, this is for this is for that. So I mean, there's definitely an automated way you can do a lot of stuff, and then there's definitely the manual way. And I guess it just depends where you are in your career.
Yeah,
if you're starting off, a lot of stuff you just have to do it manually. You just can't afford it, whatever it is. So there's plenty of options out there.
Absolutely. And I was just gonna say Aslo. Another cool thing, guys, about Aslo, which was introduced to me by ZTX Advisors, is that Aslo lets you send your own invoices too, and they let you track the invoices, and you'll use like a third-party payment system, like I don't know, like Square or PayPal or Stripe to handle those transactions. But you can just send the invoice too, and then they could like PayPal you or they can Venmo you as well. But it's just it's just one of the great tools that Azul provides for their feeless bank accounts.
Is that how you're doing your transactions and invoices right now?
It's really nice for my clients because it's like, yeah, it sucks paying the Square fees, but at the same time, it's so professional. Like they get the one email, they see what the whatever the invoice is about, and they click one link and they get sent to the Square page and they pay me out.
Do you ever add like those transaction fees on top of your
Absolutely.
invoices?
Absolutely. Or not in my invoices, but I write the transaction fees off.
Okay.
So if it's like a $1,000 project, then like the Square will take like $30 off. It's like a 1.2% transaction fee or something. And then I just write that off.
It's not as bad. I think PayPal's like 3% almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, Elon. Actually, I don't even know if he owns PayPal.
Elon sold that like for like $100 million. Like,
come on, Elon's friends.
Whoever bought it. Yeah, because I mean, what I usually do is I've been using PayPal forever.
Yeah.
And then I just create I got like a business account through PayPal, and then I'll send the invoice through there. But it's weird. Like in the beginning, like PayPal, I don't know if it was for everyone or just certain kind of like people, companies, like it wouldn't charge a transaction fee for everyone. And then recently, I want to say like a year or so ago, like I started noticing it was charging a transaction fee for like every single charge
like
I was doing.
The friends or family option.
Yeah, everything was charging. So pretty much, guys, be flexible in the beginning when you're charging. At this point, I mean, I take everything. I take Zelle, Venmo, Cash App.
Yeah.
For more like actual companies that prefer to pay out through like an invoice, routing numbers, stuff like that.
So nice.
I mean, I usually tell them, okay, I got PayPal for like any debit cards, credit cards like that, but there is a transaction fee. So I guess I'm not writing it off.
Yeah.
But I'm just including it in there. But I give them options. I let them know like, hey, there's this option, but there is also this fee if you want to do it.
Yep, that's good. Transparency, man. There's nothing sexier than hearing the words ACH transfer, because that means zero fees, baby.
There is. I know there's companies out there, guys, where you can pay like $10 a month, $15 a month, and it's like like Amazon. You put your credit card in, you buy, and that's it. Like it's like every big company, like way you do transactions. I forgot which company I was working with. That's how they paid me. And I checked it out, and boom.
Nice, dude. Nice.
I forgot what it's called though, but it's point is there's plenty of options there as far as like how to get your transactions done and stuff like that.
Nice.
Which is something that it's not something that you don't struggle with, but it'd be easier to be automated. Like, hey, go to my website, just click there, and it'll take you through everything.
Sick, man. Sick.
But I haven't got to that point yet.
Cool. Jonathan, how are you on time right now?
Oh, dude, I didn't even check the time today. Let me see. It's 10:47.
Nice.
10:47. We probably it's right here. 20 minutes.
Ah, sick. Okay,
20 minutes.
Yeah. All right, guys. So like a basic overview of today's podcast, I think we just told you guys how to really be efficient in the beginning, and how much you should take off your taxes, how much money you should take out of your income, all your income for your taxes. B, what kind of business structure you decide your freelancing business to be, whether it's a corporation, LLC, or S Corp. C, what kind of expenses you can apply to your business that you didn't know about, aka depreciation and mileage, writing off your mileage. So don't forget about those expenses, right? Because that's how you get your money back into your business. And then lastly, what we just talked about, separating your personal expenses from your business expenses for bookkeeping purposes, and honestly, just like for your peace of mind, So if you follow these 4 steps right here, you're going to be off to a better start than most freelancers. You're not going to be as stingy with your money, and you're going to actually see your business scale and grow, because now you know how to reallocate all your business's profits into like different forms of investing. And yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, guys. Just be patient. Be patient, especially if you're literally only going freelance and you don't have like another job on the side, like like pumping money into your business. Like, be patient. Definitely, like it will come. And just remember, just reinvest. That's the key to growing. This is a little baby.